Well, hello, this is Jeff Gaudiosi, and you're on misplacedstraws.com, where music comes to life. And those of you who have seen my interviews before know that I have some really great introduction written up for my next guest, but I think we're going to scrap that and go simple. From the End Machine, George fucking Lynch is in the box next to me with his guitar. So, welcome, George.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
Good, good. Yeah, that was the most understated, except for the fuck. The fuck was cool. Appreciate that.
Well, once you pulled out the guitar, it throws me all off.
A lot of people use that word in association with my name for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, we mentioned the End Machine. You guys are back with the second record, Phase 2, out April 9th. And the big news on this record, I guess, is the addition of Steve Brown on drums, Mick's brother. Understand Mick is retired. What led to Steve coming into the band?
Well, it was pretty self-evident and logical because he's a slightly younger, more enthusiastic, fresher version of his brother, with all the chops and the same style and sense of humor, and he sings the same. I mean, his background vocals are the same. I mean, it's uncanny. It's unbelievable. So it was a really good natural fit.
And when it comes to the End Machine, how does the creative process work? I mean, do you, Jeff, and Robert all write together separately? Does Jeff dip into that endless bag of songs he has? How does that come together?
Well, we had to do it COVID style this time around, which means we were all working remotely. Actually, no, I take that back. Jeff and I started working together at his studio, which is down the street from me. So it's easy. And things started ramping up with the pandemic. And so we got to a point where we didn't feel comfortable, like we were being, sort of irresponsible, and probably had to rethink how we were working. So we had some beds laid down, I can't remember how many songs we'd written and worked up pre-pandemic, but then we had a little bit of a learning curve we had to get over as far as trying to figure out how to work remotely together. So it was a little painful, but not too bad. And it was pretty cool because we since have established this way of working that's very efficient and I mean, listen to the record.
Yeah.
I mean, we did that record without being in the same room together, which is, I honestly think it's I'm not gonna say it's better than the first record, but it's it's closer to what we envisioned when we set out to make the record. The first record is kind of all over the place and more like, I like to think of the first record as the second record. It's more adventurous and kind of not as focused. The first record, I mean, the record we just finished really sounds like should be the first record, because it's just, it doesn't have all the frills and the self-indulgencies. It just sort of, we just want really strong hooks, and we want easily digestible songs that, are not insanely challenging or anything for the listener, but just real gratifying. And, meat and potatoes, more meat and potatoes, less dessert.
Yeah, and it's funny, with the first record, it almost felt like you guys were trying to not be the guys from Dokken, and in Robert's case, the singer from Warrant, looking for something completely different. And with Phase 2, it's like you kind of took the best parts of the first record, but brought in a little more of your collective histories. Were you guys sort of a little less mindful of we can't be what people are expecting when it came to the second record?
No, I think we started to recognize the challenge of doing what people expected and appreciating it, or like a smart corporation would. A company would say, okay, well, why would we sell an obscure product that nobody wants? Why don't we sell people what they want? And that's always proven to be challenging for us because of all the styles of compositions and that I do personally, and I know for Jeff as well, because we talk about this a lot. The most challenging and the hardest thing for us to nut to crack is to like recreate that 80s chemistry and vibe in our writing. It's really hard to do because either you're copying it, which is cheesy, or you're missing the mark, and then you're sounding like something else, which is, what is this? It's sort of nondescript. So it's really, I haven't, neither one of us has really had an experience where we went, oh, let's try to put ourselves back in that mindset of you and I being in a room writing, the Tooth and Nail record or the Underlock and Key record, whatever. Let's put ourselves back in that place, even though every molecule in our body has changed, exchanged 100 times, and we've had all these different life experiences and so forth. We're not really those same people anymore, but and have it be not disingenuine. That's really tricky, and I feel that on some levels we've succeeded finally with this record. And you'd think that would be the easiest thing to do, but it's not.
But, you mentioned the chemistry, though, and you and Jeff have worked together a lot outside of Doc, and you just recently did the covers record, this record. What is it about working with Jeff that allows you to get back to that place?
Well, we don't have to go through the whole initial process that I'd have to go through with a lot of people, which is trying to vet each other out and sort of figure out how to work together and find common ground and all those kind of, really triangulated aspects of the process, which is sort of behind the scenes and not really self-evident when you listen to music. And so with Jeff, it's like an old married couple. Everything is sort of understood, and we can finish each other's sentences as related to, the sounds we're looking for on any of the instruments, or what we're trying to achieve sonically, or, arrangement wise, or stylistically, what we're trying to achieve, right? All those kinds of things. We're on the same page, so it makes communicating way easier. We don't have to spend energy on that.
Yeah, and I have to say now, as we're about halfway through the questions, perfect time for a musical interlude if you feel like playing.
It's kind of still early for me, so I don't know if this amp works. I think it does.
Nice. Thank you.
Still early.
And back in the day, I mean, if you or Jeff did something outside of Dokken, in the 80s, in the heyday of everything, just the media world would have exploded. But nowadays, you guys, as well as Robert, you're involved in so many different projects. And, we spoke earlier this year with your band, The Banishment, and everything sounds totally different. You get to explore all of this new music. Do you like this freedom and creativity of the music business now, where you could just put a band together and play whatever it is you're feeling?
Well, from a creative standpoint, absolutely. I like the challenge of playing different styles of music and playing with different people. And playing something that's a little bit different style rock than I'm known for or used to. But on the other side of the coin, the business side of it, it's not as gratifying because it's a hard sell. And The Banishment is a good example of that. You know, a lot of people are resistant, a lot of fans are resistant to, in my case, from what I've experienced, quite a few of them, a large percentage of them are, I don't know what percentage, but just reject anything that isn't what they assume I should be doing. And I can't belittle that, you know, because these are the people that support me and that have bought what I'm selling in the past. So, and I have defined myself, and that means something to them. And they value that, and there's some self-identity involved with that on their part. So for me to abandon that, you know, some people take that very personal, as they should, I guess, and it's difficult for them. So, and they think it's sort of self-indulgent and selfish of me to veer from what I've made a supposed commitment to. But, you know, I'm not this huge famous guy like an Eddie Van Halen on a commercial level. So I'm not a slave to, you know, I haven't been preordained to be something that's set in stone. You know, I have the flexibility to do other things because of my lack of commercial success. So there's a benefit, there's a good side to that. It offers me a sense of freedom creatively that I wouldn't have necessarily if I, you know, was a slave to selling, you know, millions and millions and millions of records every time I put something out, and there'd be a lot, you know, there'd be enhanced consequences if I took a misstep and didn't play to my brand.
And naturally, as we've mentioned with all of your different projects, you've been really prolific, as are a lot of your contemporaries still. But looking at some of the newer bands out there, is there anyone who's playing or whose style really stands out to you as, you know, kind of the next generation of guitar greats?
Oh, I mean, the list is like as long as my arm. I mean,
that's a good thing to hear.
Yeah. And you know, I got to be super honest with you. I don't know everybody's name, and I don't follow. I mean, I follow people, you know, on Instagram and stuff like that, and there's guys that I watch and listen to and appreciate, but you know, I don't know their records. You know, I could name their songs. You know, it's not like that, but so yeah, I mean, there's just, you know, I mean, we've gone through a couple paradigm shifts in guitar evolution, you know, in the last 2 generations or so. Generations I've been my heyday, you know, since the 80s. And I don't really know what to make of it, you know. I mean, you know, us legacy guys are going to always be living in the past to some extent, you know, and missing the old days. I mean, I remember, you know, my older generation of musicians I would listen to, you know, always just talking about the people that influenced them, you know, the Link Rays and Elvis and people from the 50s. And I was like, that meant nothing to me. I was like, I don't know who those guys are, and I don't care, you know. I just want to hear this new bands from 1968 you know, or 1972. And I'm still like that too. I'm just like, there's nothing better than the stuff I grew up with. You know, they were the giants, and that's the end of that. So, and I still feel that's true. When I run into young people today, young players, and don't think much of Hendrix, I'm just like, blows my mind. I'm just like, how was that even?
How could that be?
Be a guitar player and not say that, but okay. So I try to be open-minded and, but also realize that, you know, I can't really be too involved, and it's not my job to be involved in the new generation of players. That, you know, the guys that Tosin Abasi has bred, you know, that whole thing. I don't do that. I'll never do that. And if I tried, I would look ridiculous trying. It's kind of funny. I have a guitar company called Mr. Scary Guitars, and I built a 7-string left-handed Bones guitar with a left-handed tremolo, hand-tongue tremolo on it. And with all my guitars, I demo my instruments for the customer, you know, for my client. So I do a video demo explaining every aspect of the guitar and playing on it, showing what it does and everything. And I got to his guitar and I was like, wait a minute. First of all, I don't really play 7-string. And then second of all, I definitely don't play left-handed. And I don't know if you've ever tried, if you play guitar, but
Yeah.
if you play left-handed, you ever try playing left-handed?
I tried just to see what it's like, and it's not good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fun. You sound like you've been playing for about 7 days, and yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's what I feel like when I'm trying to like stay up with these guys like Tosin left guys, you know. I just feel like, well, this is to me, and I hate to say this sounds terrible, but it kind of reminds me, it's like my version of like an even older legacy guy trying to like kind of stay up with tapping or something that he thinks is modern and cool.
I know what
like
you mean.
he's really trying to tap, you know.
Yeah.
Like, dude, don't even try. That's not what you do. You're just going to do it badly and embarrass yourself, you know. And that's how I feel about this modern influx of players, is that I have no business really. I can comment on it, and I appreciate it, which I do. You know, I buy Animals Leaders records, and I use some of his software when I'm recording, actually, and stuff. But I'm not going to try to play Djent music badly. Nor is my opinion even that valid related to that whole genre and that whole class of players. Because one thing that is pretty amazing to me is it's all comes from a schooled base. You know, these guys just aren't playing off the top of their heads and their hearts.
Yeah, it's a different shift. You know, in the old days, it was almost like it was a badge of honor to not have any training. Now it shifted to the opposite.
Yeah. I mean, and the influences in there are insane. It's Django, bebop. It's, you know, definitely jazz and avant-garde and progressive and you know, just holy shit, you know, and it just, you know, and soul and funk, and it playing percussively and doing all this counterpoint stuff, and it's two-handed, and wow, it's just like, you know, it's like taking that Stanley Jordan thing and just evolving it, you know, way beyond anything that we would have imagined. And you know, I think it maybe begs the question, is, you know, is just, are we here to serve technique, or is technique here to serve us? You know, and that I don't think it's actually a mutually exclusive query. I think it's probably not the right way of framing the question, but I think it's both. And I think it's beautiful and wonderful, and I love to see that the guitar world has evolved in a more meaningful way. That'll kind of stand the test of time, because I think we got into the speed wars back in the late 80s. Right. And that was just sort of self-imploded under its own weight. It's just kind of worked itself into a corner, like, okay, there's only so many, you know, 30-second notes you can play. I mean, okay, we have 64. I mean, where does this lead us, you know? Well, you lose the song, you know, just for the sake of speed. Yeah. What are we serving at this point? Yeah. You know? So, and so I think we learned from that. And so now we have these guys have a much deeper reservoir of musical background that they're coming from. And so because they have all these tools, they're a lot more nimble and can sort of just move in a lot of different directions. And now, I mean, eventually the world's going to get back to normal. You know, we'll start seeing live music again. Do you have any plans in the future to hit the road? Will it be with the End Machine? Will it be with a different project? Have you even thought about what's coming next when it comes time to hit the road again? I'm going to gradually start going out. And, you know, I think I've got something, well, I know I have something coming up May 1st and 2nd, a Dallas Guitar Show. I'm trying to limit everything to outdoors and, you know, events that are as safe as can be, considering. For the moment, I'm not flying, so driving myself. I have this kind of four-wheel drive solar adventure sprinter van thing that's just beast that my wife and I love taking out, and that's our COVID escape machine. We do a lot of camping, and backpacking, and out overlanding and adventuring and stuff, and we're kind of off the grid most of the time, and so that's perfect for us. We're like we the way that we look at it, or that I look at it, is we combine an opportunity to play somewhere, if it works, with a road trip, and I can get out and I can camp, and the trip there and back is really, for me, the whole reward. Plus I get to play live, because it's important to keep, I think, for all of us to play live occasionally, even if you're not going to do it regularly, because it's a whole different thing than the studio thing, as you know. I mean, I've been sitting here in the studio for a year, like most of us. Yeah, I can do that. I've got that wired. But I went out and I did some kind of live thing not too long ago. It was a corporate thing, but all safe and outdoor thing. And boy, I was like, I didn't have my legs. I mean, it felt very, very strange, to be quite honest. And I did not play well. And I was playing a lot. I was in the saddle a lot, like every day in the studio, 5 days a week. Just playing. I go, oh, this is going to be great. And I got out there, and it was just like,
it's different. Yeah. It
was like, man, I've got to get back into this. This is a different animal. I've got to get acclimated. So I worry about that a little
bit. We can't talk about the End Machine naturally without talking about Dokken. And with Mick's retirement, is that the end of that classic lineup and the sporadic reunions? Do you ever foresee you and Jeff playing with Don again, or just not even thinking about it at this point?
No, I mean, actually, been talking to Don a little bit, and we're both in agreement that should probably happen, meaning some kind of a meaningful reunion done in the right way, carefully and with proper preparation and time and rehearsals, and not just throwing it out there like we did last time. So and I think the obvious choice to replace Mick would be his brother Steve.
Yeah, so, I would think. Well, we've been spending some time here with George Lynch. His band, The End Machine, has a new record out called Phase 2. It's actually coming out April 9th everywhere. It's a great record. If you like the first End Machine record, this one, as good as the first one was, I think this one blows it away. George, thanks so much for taking the time to do it. Best of luck with the record. Best of luck in the future. Hopefully we can catch you on the road if you make it out east here, and good luck with everything you have coming up.
Thank you. And thank you for being an astute professional interviewer, because I've been sitting around all morning. I've had 6 interviews on my plate. You're the first one that's actually connected with me, and we've actually made it happen. So I appreciate that.
My pleasure, George. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.
Yep. Bye.